Hey, it's Chris here from CritCast.com with another edition of the CritCast. Last time out, we pretty much wrapped up 2011 as I counted down my top 10 movies of the year. I hope you checked that out and liked that. I know it's probably a little different than most of your lists, but hey, some more movies to check out, I hope. Anyway, 2012 is here, and it's time to start looking forward to seeing some new movies that we got coming up. And I just had to take a look through pretty much through the end of June to see what movies I'm looking forward to based on the list so far. I used BoxOfficeMojo.com to see what was coming out, and I noted down a whole bunch of titles that I'm looking forward to checking out this year. I'm gonna go through them in release order, so it's starting with the most recent and ending up with the movies coming out towards the end of June. And let's take a look see what we got coming out this year. The first movie I'm interested in seeing um, is probably one that you probably wouldn't suspect for me. It's The Vow, the romantic film with Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams, based on the true events, the true story of a married couple who were in a car accident and she lost her memory, and now they have to pretty much start all over again. Um, these romances are not an easy genre to do, and most of them tend up being a little annoying or um, we get like more Nicholas Sparks crap. That guy has got to be stopped. Anyway, the Vow actually looks pretty good. I like McAdams in these types of roles, and Tatum. Well, it's nice to be a great actor, but the trailer actually looks pretty enticing. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that one. Um, Moving along, we have the sequel to Ghost Rider. It's Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, and I actually kind of liked the original Ghost Rider. Wasn't the best of the superhero movies, but I'm actually really looking forward to this one, mainly because it was directed by Neville Dean and Taylor, the guys behind the Crank films and Gamer, and I think those guys could do a really good job with this dark character. Unfortunately, it is a PG-13 movie, so I have a feeling that whatever craziness they could have cooked up for us has probably been, probably chopped down a little bit. So maybe we'll get a director's cut down the line. Anyway, I like what I see in the trailer, and I hope for a fun movie. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it's going to be fun. Next up is Act of Valor. It's a military film based on some actual SEAL missions, and what makes this one interesting is that all the SEALs in this film are actually portrayed by active duty SEALs, um, which will hopefully bring some sort of interesting level of authenticity to it. Keep moving along is The Raven, uh, an Edgar Allan Poe film starring John Cusack, who plays Poe. Um, it concerns a It's like a series of murders that are happening, and it seems to be based on details found in Poe's stories. And I'm not so sure about Poe Cusack's accent in the trailer, but the movie actually looks pretty interesting, and I'm hoping to like that. It's from the guy who directed V for Vendetta, which was a fantastic movie if you haven't seen that. Next up is The Hunger Games, which I don't know. I fear this is going to turn into another Twilight sort of thing. Um, Hopefully not. Hopefully the original material this is based on is better. Um, it looks interesting, even if it does feel like a corporate version of Battle Royale. Now, if you haven't seen Battle Royale, I definitely recommend you check that out. It's finally getting an official U.S. release, I believe, in March. Although it's still pretty much available on all sorts of places online. I've seen it years ago. But that similar concept, but I think this could be a fun movie. I hope anyway. Jennifer Lawrence stars in it, and she's a pretty good up and coming actress. Um, keeping on moving, we have the Pirates Band of Misfits, new claymation title from the guys that did Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit, and I think this looks fun. Everyone loves a good pirate movie, and if for nothing else, I love the bit in the trailer where he lands on a ship to rob them and finds out that it's a leper ship, and the dude's arm falls off. Um, yeah, I should say it's gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, um, next up is American Reunion. It's the fourth film in the American Pie series. Uh, I forgot when American Wedding came out, but it's been a while since we've seen any of those guys all together. And the trailer looks like fun, you know. Hopefully they can recapture the magic of what made that first film so good. And, you know, anyway, uh, sorry about that. Moving along, we have The Cabin in the Woods, which has been sitting on the shelf for 2, 3 years now. It's the Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard film, starring Liam Hemsworth, who is now known the world over as Thor. It's a tribute to the Cabin in the Woods horror movie, but if you see, well, check out the trailer. It's different. There's it starts out just like you would expect from this sort of film, but then it takes a twist, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this movie plays out. I'm so happy it's finally getting released in the theaters. Um, Next up, we have a movie called Lockout. It was written by Luc Besson and stars Guy Pearce, Maggie Grace, and Peter Stormare as it's a science fiction film that kind of reminds when I see it. It looks like what John Carpenter probably had in mind for his third Escape film. Escape from New York, Escape from L.A. And then I remember there was always rumors of him doing an Escape from Planet Earth, and this sort of feels that way. It's set on a maximum security prison that's actually a space station, and somebody's daughter gets trapped on the ship, and they send in one badass guy played by Pierce to get in there, get her, and get out. It's very much a Escape from New York sort of type situation, and it looks like a lot of fun. Next up is The 5 Year Engagement, starring Emily Blunt and Jason Segel. And this, I like Jason Segel. That guy is funny, and he always turns in some good performances. And same thing for Emily Blunt. And this film looks like it could be that funny romantic film that we get, pretty much one, maybe two a year of that actually really work. And this is one I'm looking forward to. Moving along, we have The Avengers, the highly anticipated Marvel mashup with Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Green Arrow, and a few others, Iron Man. I forget the rest. But anyway, this is good. This is going to be a big one. This is one of the big ones of the summer. Probably the biggest early film of this summer season. This one's, I believe, coming out in early May, I believe. And I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope they don't mess it up. Next up is Tim Burton's first of two films this year is Dark Shadows, starring Tim Burton as Barnabas Collins, based on the old TV show. And I like Burton. He hasn't exactly been on a roll lately with Alice in Wonderland, which was kind of messy. I will say that I did love Sweeney Todd. I do think that his earlier films were a lot better, and I would like to see him getting back to some more original material, which will hopefully pay off later in the year when Frankenweenie comes out, based off his own short film from the 80s. Anyway, haven't seen any footage from Dark Shadows aside from a couple of stills, but it looks like fun. Well, maybe not fun, but we can always hope. Next up is Battleship, and I don't know what to say about this one. It kind of looks like another Transformers movie, and yes, I am sort of looking forward to it, but I'm not expecting anything good from it. Um, a big summer blow up. We'll see. What else can I say? Next up is Snow White and the Huntsman, starring Charlize Theron as the Wicked Witch, and Kristen Stewart as Snow White, and Liam Hemsworth as the Huntsman. And I'm not as anti-Stewart as a lot of other anti-Twilight people are, because I actually think she is a pretty good actress. But she just has to get some distance from those Twilight films, like maybe once they're done, maybe disappear for a little while, kind of like what DiCaprio did after Titanic. Anyway, the first trailer for that came out, and I liked that. I liked the look of it. I liked how they did the mirror effect when the whole mirror bit with the Evil Queen, and Charlize Theron as she's a very good actress, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do, bringing some new life to that old story. Uh, Next up is probably one of the most highly anticipated films for me this year is Prometheus. I can't say I really know a lot about it. I've kind of avoided most of the descriptions. I have seen the trailer. I have seen a lot of people that are in the cast, including Numi Rapace from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, Michael Fassbender, uh, whose career is really taking off. Um, Really good actor too, along with Guy Pearce, Idris Elba, Patrick Wilson, Charlize Theron again. Um, it's fantastic. I mean, it's Ridley Scott returning to science fiction with a very alien looking project, and I don't know. I'm not sure quite what to expect from it because again, I'm trying to avoid a lot of the story stuff to see it on the screen. But let's just say that I am really looking forward to this film. Next up is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It's another one of those mashups that began as a novel, I believe, kind of like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And I believe there's another one that has was it Benjamin Franklin as a werewolf hunter? I believe. I'm not sure. Anyway, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter uh, has our president taking out vampires who killed his mother, and again, how can you go wrong? It's a president killing vampires. Next up is the Brave from the new Pixar film, and I'm just hoping that it picks up where they left off a couple years ago with Wally because Cars 2 was not very good, and as much as I love Pixar, they stumbled a bit with that one. So I'm really hoping that they get back on their game with Brave because their films are just generally fantastic. Besides being beautifully animated, they generally have great stories with wonderful characters, great heart. Just look at the past history. With between Wally and Ratatouille and The Incredibles and the Toy Story movies, it's hard to go wrong with pretty much any of them except for Cars and Cars 2. Not so good. Last on my list here because I'm only going to cover up through June because the second half of the year, while there are some definite ones in there, I think there's a lot of room for some moving around and for movies to get pushed around and stuff. So I'll have to get back to that one later. But the last one on this list is G.I. Joe Retaliation, where I liked the first G.I. Joe. I thought they got it right. That while it was different from the cartoon, I think that they did a very good job of keeping the tone and that general silliness or aspect to it. Um, with Retaliation, it looks like they're sort of doing a reboot and a sequel all at the same time, bringing in a whole bunch of new cast members, getting rid of a bunch of prior cast members, and looks like it's going to be amping up the action a lot. They're bringing in The Rock to play Roadblock, um, and there was a big surprise in the trailer, which I didn't even really realize until I saw it, was that Bruce Willis was in it. Adrian Palicki is in it. Snake Eyes is back. Um, it looks like a big, fun action movie, and I hope that they keep that lighthearted tone that the first film had. Maybe a touch more serious, but still, I think this could be fun. Anyway, that covers 18 films through the first 6 months of the year that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that all of them, or at least most of them, pay off. I mean, granted, Battleship isn't one that I really have a lot of high hopes for. The Raven could go either way. Act of Valor, I liked again the whole SEAL thing, although I'm not expecting a lot from the story in that film. Um, of the ones I've talked about here, I'd probably have to put Prometheus, Avengers, Cabin in the Woods as the top as my top picks for the first half of the year. Um, and in that second half of the year, we will have Amazing Spider-Man to look forward to. Of course, The Dark Knight Rises, which may be the most highly anticipated film of the year. Um, Others like Expendables 2 and Paranorman and Total Recall and a Newborn film. But again, a bunch of those, I'm not sure where the production is on them, so it wouldn't surprise me if any of those get pushed or changed or moved around to different points. But okay, that wraps up the first 6 months of the year, and what are you looking forward to? Let me know. Maybe I have to add some more to this list because I'm sure there's going to be other ones that I'm going to want to see popping up um, between now and whenever they come out. Anyway, this is Chris from CriticalOutcast.com, and be sure to drop by the site and read some more of my full length ramblings.